Introduce it. You start.
Welcome back to the Cinema Lounge, everybody. We are here in the lounge, kicking back. The fire's rolling. The jazz is playing. The sweet, sweet smell of cigar smoke wafts through my nostrils, and
I'm using a pipe.
And the taste of whiskey tantalizes my taste buds.
I feel tantalized.
Amen, brother. Well, Marshall, so glad to be here with you. Welcome back from Colombia.
Thank you.
It's really fun to have you here for a full-length Cinema Lounge. Thank God, last time I was on my own, and it was fine, but I missed you. I missed you.
I listened to it because I had to edit it.
Thanks, man.
I edited it late at night.
Yeah.
At my office. Because I have an office now.
Wow, congrats. So much has changed.
So much has changed.
You've been to 2 continents. You've gotten a new job. You have an office. And nothing's changed for me, so here we are. Life's good. Anyway.
That's okay.
The full-length podcast, the full-length Cinema Lounge this week. We have a special guest with us. His name is Elijah.
I would say, hold on.
What?
I would say we have a guest with us.
Oh, not a special guest.
Your words.
What?
Guys, I'm right here.
Hey, listen,
I feel pretty special.
he just said that you're not special.
No, I didn't say that. You're gaslighting me. I'm not crazy. You're crazy.
I didn't say that you weren't special. I just said that I would not have said special guest, and then you said not special.
That is technically the truth of what just happened.
So Ben says you're not special. I think you are special. I just wasn't going to butter you up like that for the show.
Special is as special does.
That's true.
And
Mom always told me.
Wow.
And tell us
Ben
what
doesn't even get that reference.
I don't get that.
Do you know why Ben doesn't get that reference? Because he's never seen Forrest Gump.
I'm so sorry. You can't expose me like that.
Oh, that's the one
this
thing.
This is a Cinema Lounge. I'm supposed to watch movies.
The one thing I had in my bullet point. Hi guys, by the way, I'm Elijah Herbal. I am Ben's brother.
Yeah.
We'll get around to that. But that was like the one bullet point I had coming to this episode is I'm going to expose Ben for having never seen Forrest Gump. Because how the hell do you host a podcast about movies and you've never seen Forrest Gump, one of the most iconic movies of the 20th century?
I thought you were quoting something about our mom. I don't know.
You look so dejected.
This sucks. I feel like super exposed. Elijah luckily has used up all of his ammunition right away. Mm-hmm. He was going to wait the whole episode to say that, and
pulled the 8
we
Mile.
were starting it.
Ben, I will make you feel
You're right.
better.
He's not special. That son of a gun.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. I'm the special one. Firstborn.
Okay, Ben. Can I make you feel a little bit better?
Yeah.
I have not seen Titanic.
Okay.
And I've not seen Citizen Kane.
Okay.
Okay, Citizen Kane's overrated.
Well, okay.
Okay, let's go.
Well, okay, in terms of we were diving right into the deep end here. I'm going to introduce myself first.
Go ahead,
I'm Elijah.
Elijah.
Again, as I said, I'm Ben's brother. I do a radio show, Sports Talk, here in the great city of Lincoln, Nebraska.
Wow.
So it's about that. I talk about the Huskers with my day. I don't spend much time talking about movies, but I do like movies. My roommate Alex is a big cinemaphile, so I end up watching a lot of movies with him. I do consider myself something of an enthusiast, and I'm really happy to be here.
Okay. You were supposed to wait until the end of the show before you earn your plug, but I guess there's your plug. Yeah, sure. So Elijah works in radio. Go listen to his voice on Hail Varsity Radio.
See, I didn't plug where I was, but thank you for plugging me there. Hail Varsity Radio, locally on KFOR or streaming anywhere you get podcasts.
Locally, Elijah, this is a global cinema lounge.
That's true. We've got listeners in Germany.
Do we?
Yep.
That's cool.
I can look at the analytics right now.
How'd that happen?
I don't know.
Hey, Guten Tag, listeners.
Well,
it's a good connection, though, Elijah. Back to Forrest Gump, and I guess we could connect, Titanic and Citizen Kane, because today we're talking about sports movies. Forrest Gump is...
Great connection there. While we're talking about movies on this movie podcast.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump is a cross-country movie.
Okay.
And football.
Titanic is really just swimming. And Citizen Kane is... Sledding! Yeah! Yay!
We did it.
We did it. So Elijah, local sports... dare I say expert? I don't know. He at least does it professionally. He gets paid a paycheck to talk about sports.
More of an expert than me.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I mean, I got scoops, so I think that's all. I had the scoop of the day today, by the way.
Really?
Well, tell us about it.
I don't want to. I'm not sure when this podcast is going to be released. I don't want to be wrong. I look like a real idiot.
This Wednesday.
Okay, so hopefully I'm not wrong here. You can scrub it from the podcast if I am wrong. If you don't scrub it, It's okay.
Scott Frost is our new quarterback.
No, that would be hilarious. That announcement the University of Nebraska is making tomorrow, they're going to be hosting a volleyball match in Memorial Stadium this fall.
What? Hype. That's kind of cool.
So from what I've heard, it's going to be UNO, UNK, and the University of Nebraska team doing a little triangular, followed by a concert in Memorial Stadium that night.
Whoa.
So they're trying to break the Wisconsin volleyball attendance record and
Yes.
beat it in such a way that they blow it out of the water. No one will ever touch it.
That would have been more
That's
hype
great.
if it was a Big Ten game, but I guess there's probably like rules about that.
So
or
anyway,
something.
that's what I spend most of my day talking about. But now we're here to talk some movies, and sports movies is right up my alley. I'm glad you guys had me here.
Wow.
Yes.
Nice.
So, all of our backgrounds, you're the sports guy. Ben, you have watched sports.
Yeah, I'm the brother to the sports guy.
And I have only recently become a soccer fan.
Okay.
English Premier League.
Yeah. I chose Liverpool as my team pretty arbitrarily just because I am a Beatles obsessive.
Okay.
Oh no, that's
And
not
it's also
arbitrarily.
it's also like nobody can call you a bandwagon fan this year because they're so bad.
They were doing very poorly.
Yeah, they're doing really bad. So no one's gonna call you a bandwagon fan until like 2 or 3 years down the road when they get good again. You're like, I'm a Liverpool fan. They're like, you're a bandwagoner. You say
It
no.
wasn't that bad before the World Cup break, and then we've just sucked.
A lot of injuries have hurt that.
Luis Diaz.
Yeah, that's big. That's big. And
He's
then
Colombian.
also Darwin Nunez. He's
Not
he's kind of a
doing his
donkey,
job.
but
Wow.
He's
That's a
been
British
okay
term.
the last couple. He got a really nice goal in the last one.
in a 5-2 loss.
Yeah. It was 2-2 at half. It's fine.
Wow. So listeners need to follow the Premier League now.
They do. It's very good. So, guys, let's talk about sports movies.
Okay.
I've got ideas and questions, but first, I have the definition of a sports movie.
No, this is big. I want to hear this.
Welcome
Yes.
to my high school speech.
Webster
According
Dictionary.
to-
So I went to TV Tropes.
Okay.
And the definition of a sports movie. The genre of fiction that places the focus on sports, usually following a player, coach, or team as they challenge themselves to rise to the top of the sport in question. Sports stories, also called spoke on when referring to anime or manga in the genre. There's a lot of sports anime, like volleyball anime is really big, baseball anime. Because baseball's
Baseball's big in Japan.
really big in Japan. Sports stories can span a single game, a tournament, or an entire career. Those are the three options. While the rules of the game, training, and rivalry between players is the most common source of drama in these types of stories, or these types of works, same thing, it is often the protagonist team that must learn something important about themselves to overcome the odds. So that's the definition there.
And I think the most important part to me is that last sentence you said.
Yeah.
In terms of sports movies, I think of overcoming the odds is huge. Like when you think of a sports movie, at least whenever I think of a sports movie, you think of the underdog story. Nobody's going to make a movie about, oh, well, they're the best in the world. They're just trying to remain there. It makes for a lame story. The underdog, I think, is one of the most crucial aspects to what a sports movie is. And when you think about the greatest sports movies you can think of, the underdog aspect is paramount in all of those movies.
Yeah, even the ones where it's about this is the guy who is the greatest in the world.
It's something has happened. that
Yeah,
has
or it's
taken
they're
them from
just
that.
coming up,
Yeah.
and something like 42 is the beginning of Jackie Robinson,
An
or
origin, yeah.
Cinderella Man is the return of this guy.
Yeah.
Or I'd go, one of my favorite movies over the past couple years was the movie with Will Smith on the Serena and Venus Williams, King Richard.
Yeah.
They're the best in the world. Like Serena Williams is the best tennis player, female to ever do it. You could argue ever.
Sure.
Across female and male. But the story is their underdog story coming from the hood in California, trying to get up with the help of their dad. And that's what makes it a watchable sports movie. If it's Serena Williams at her peak,
Yeah.
it's a lame movie, but it's about her come up and her underdog story trying to overcome the societal elements that are trying to hold her back from becoming big.
Huh.
Well, I
Yeah.
haven't seen it either, but isn't it even more so about their dad than anything?
Yes and no. It's called King Richard because Will Smith puts in a phenomenal performance in the movie.
Yeah, he really knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, he knocked it out of the park.
Really.
I like that pun.
What do you mean?
A real punch to the face.
Slap.
Oh,
Slap.
Ben,
whatever.
we weren't going to talk about that.
Well, here we are. Anyway, sorry, Elijah. What?
I heard knock it out of the park and I just went sports reference. That's
Oh.
good.
I know.
But it's about him shaping them. So he would probably be the protagonist in the movie, but it is more about their career than anything.
Sure.
It's about how he helps them overcome. It's kind of like the father figure in a life, just assisting along the way.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorite sports movies of the past 5 years. I really enjoyed that one.
I need to watch it. Why do you think people enjoy sports movies? Like, what is it about sports movies that it's weird that it is a genre in itself? Like, it's the same way that, like, Indiana Jones is a genre. It's not just a movie in another thing. Sports is its own thing. Why is that? Why do we love that kind of story so much? Because there's overcoming the odds in all kinds of things. What's different about sports in that way?
I feel like from a base level, outside of the storytelling components of the tropes of a sports movie, like sports have a grip on mankind as a whole, right? Like, outside of telling a movie about a sports, or outside of telling a story about a sporting event or some story within sports, like, society is gripped by watching sporting events. Like, something deep within us cheering on your team against the other team, or the storylines that follow, the stats, the arguments, who's the greatest of all time, you know? Every part of the sporting event brings up emotions that don't happen in a lot of other places in our society. I mean, like seeing people weep
in real life,
at the soccer game, the English Premier League, as they win the Champions League, like fans just bawling, or you know, every single time the World Cup comes on and the entire world is gripped by this thing. Yeah, and there's montages online of fans reacting to goals across the world.
It's the way that sports is able to bring people together. Like, I don't think there's many other things in the world that bring such a huge number of people together like sports. If I walk down the street in, name a city, Philadelphia, and I see a guy with a Husker hat on, I'm going to strike up a conversation about the Huskers, and it's a way to bring you together. It's a way to bridge the gap between two very different people. And sports is one of the biggest examples of that in society. So to be able to bring it to the big screen is just a new way to kind of, I mean, I think of like Slumdog Millionaire, an underdog story. But that dude's not bringing people together in a way that I'd say better society where sports does do that. So I think it's just a new and inventive way to tell an underdog story in a way that shows how, you know, sports brings people together and kind of makes for a better world outside of what's happening on the field. If you kind of get what I'm trying to get across here, is it's the sports movie is at its heart.
Spider-Man is all but invincible, but Parker, we can destroy him.
I can't.
Betrayal must not be countenanced. Parker must be educated.
What do I do?
Instruct him in the matters of loss and pain. Make him suffer. Make him wish he were dead.
Yes.
And then grant his wish.
But how?
The cunning warrior attacks neither body nor mind.
Tell me how!
The heart, Osborn. First, we attack his heart.
About what happens on the field, but what makes you feel good about the sports story is the way it brings a team together, the way it brings fans together, the way it kind of just brings our world together and eliminates the differences between people.
It's also motivational too, right? Like in a lot of sports movies, it's I'm empathizing with a character who has it down and out and crawls their way back in, or I'm empathizing with the team, or I'm empathizing with the coach, or whatever it is, right? That like there's some motivation to it. After I finish watching the movie, I'm like, oh, I can be motivated. I can do it, or I can
in a very real sense, as opposed to like, because again, like you have that in all kinds of things. When I watch like a Batman movie, I get really jazzed and I want to go and draw Batman. I want to go and do that. Like I get inspired by that.
Fight crime,
I got my Batman costume. You watched the last episode, man, or one before the last one. Don't listen to the Tarzan episode. It sucked. It was fine, Ben. It was good. It was an experiment.
Thank you.
You said the word like 6 times, and I had to do a lot of editing.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that,
he said the word already.
Whoa, maybe it's a Herbal thing.
It might be.
So I have a nasty habit on this show of saying the heart of...
No!
Instruct him in the matters of loss and pain. Make him suffer. Make him wish he were dead.
Yes.
And then grant his wish.
But how?
The cunning warrior attacks neither body nor mind.
Tell me how!
The heart, Osborne. First, we attack his heart.
Do it again.
I say like the heart.
The cunning warrior attacks neither body nor mind.
Tell me how!
The heart, Osborne. First, we attack his heart.
Of the movie.
Oh my.
The heart.
The heart, Osborne. First, we attack his heart.
Of sports movies.
I've started interchanging it with, see, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But can I just say, tonight was the night I learned that whenever it was, Marshall's in Columbia. He was the country, not the university. I thought Marshall was some like scholar. That was
Oh,
off. Oh yeah,
really?
he's
No.
at Columbia this week.
Oh.
Ben's doing the show alone. I was like,
Yeah.
oh wow, he must be like learning
No,
something.
the
special.
colleges were playing each other.
No, yeah, he's
No,
international.
and then I got here and I saw the Colombian flag on the wall, and I went, oh,
Yeah.
his girlfriend's Colombia. Colombia.
You'll figure it out
That's
eventually.
more exotic than
Yeah.
a Columbia
No
University.
districts here, just a country.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is the inside joke that we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
Is that every time someone says the word,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't say it.
yeah, so now I have to insert a specific clip from Spider-Man 1 of Norman Osborn lamenting to the Green Goblin that he has to kill Peter Parker, even though Peter Parker is the best friend of his son and is like a son to him. And he tells him that the cunning warrior attacks neither body nor mind. And then he goes, tell me how. And says, the
Heart.
The cunning warrior attacks neither body nor mind.
Tell me how!
The heart, Osborne. First, we attack his heart.
Oh,
Oh, I said it.
says the heart.
The heart, Osborne. First, we attack his heart.
Osborn. First, we attack his heart.
The heart, Osborne.
And then I cut hard out of it. And now I have to put it in here like 100 times, and I have to do something slightly different to it every single
Yeah,
time.
well, don't do it.
Well, I'm going to because I'm dedicated. What I was going to say,
Yes.
thank you. Special guest, who I think is special.
Oh my God.
What I was going to say is that I think that in regards to how these movies work as movies is that they have that sense of achievement that a lot of other movies do have, like I was talking about with Batman and things like that before we started talking about fighting crime. It's a much more real sense of that, especially because so many sports movies are also based on a true story. If you look at Miracle or Rudy or who knows what, King Richard, all these different things, you're getting attached to real people, or at least even in fictional stories, people that feel real. There's not fantastical elements in most of these. Field of Dreams is one I have written down here that would not fit that category necessarily, but you still have that very human sense of achievement and like a triumph of spirit that is purely human and feels very achievable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's grounded in reality. That was something I was going to say with kind of the formula of a sports movie, maybe the tropes of sports movies. There's something reassuring about the formula.
Yeah.
There's conflict, overcoming the conflict, whatever that might look like. Made me think a little bit of sometimes sports movies are like the dude version of rom-coms or something like that, where there's a formula that you go back to because you know what to expect, sort of.
Yeah.
But I think the difference is that most rom-coms are not grounded in reality whatsoever.
No, it's crazy.
Like at least, yeah, the formula of a rom-com is really not how really relationships work. Which doesn't make them any worse.
Joe versus the Volcano is completely realistic.
Shut up. I love. What is it?
Joe versus the Volcano.
What is it?
It's Tom Hanks made a special deal to live like a king, but he has to throw himself into a volcano at the end of the week, okay? So just deal with it. It's completely realistic, and I would take the deal. We all would.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like rom-coms. Don't get me wrong, guys. I like a good rom-com. But the difference of a formulaic movie like a sports film, I think there's grounded in reality. Whether it's like a historical story, it's 42. It's I'm trying to think. A League of Their Own. It's Moneyball. Whatever that is. It's a historical film grounded in some sort of real story, which I think adds a different kind of aspect to it compared to a rom-com.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, and you look at that the formula for the sports movie. It's very realistically, here you have your group of underdogs. Here is some coach, some player, something trying to make a change. Some
It's
sort of
very hard edged.
Yes, and then some sort of shared adversity brings the team and the coaches together. And then here comes this run where there's a lot of hard work following the shared adversity. They get a lot better, and now they're going and defying everyone's expectations and doing something great. That's kind of the formula for a general sports movie, and there are some notable exceptions to that rule. But that's the general formula, and it's kind of, again, to Ben's point, like the male version of a rom-com in that sense where you know what's coming in a sports movie. In a sports movie, at least a good one,
Boy meets coach.
but like you don't lose at the end.
Falls in love. Yeah. They do something to break up the relationship, and they end up together in the end.
I was going less on that and more just like, the sports team's not going to lose at the end. It's kind of like the whenever you're following the hero in any given story, the hero's not going to die. Like, Jon Snow dies at the end. That's a spoiler.
Yeah.
But in Game of Thrones, like you knew
Yeah.
Jon Snow, we're probably going to find a way to bring him back. Like, there's no way he can go out here. It's the same story in a sports movie. You go, this team looks very down and out, but there's still 30 minutes left in the movie. I bet they're going to turn around and win it all.
Yeah.
But there is still that aspect of humanity and inspiration that kind of...
Yeah.
But humanity and inspiration that kind of keeps you in the movie and keeps you wanting to continue watching despite the fact that you know it's coming.
Yeah.
I also don't mean to gender it too much, like male version of a rom-com. I think as a male, I like rom-coms. I don't think we have to gender that.
Yeah.
Also,
I just watched You've Got Mail with Laura, and it's one of my favorite movies.
oh, dude, yeah, absolutely.
very entertaining.
Absolutely. Also, women like sports movies. However, when you Google, because I did this past week, top sports movies of all time, just because I'm always curious what pulls up, half of the top Google results are Men's Health.
Yeah.
Rolling Stone magazine,
Dude Hut.
Top sports movies. So I think there is a bit of that culturally that a sports movie is for dudes,
Especially
but
in America,
I don't mean
which
to
so
gender
much of these are very USA centric.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, but I need to throw that out there though, that I don't mean to gender it.
Do either of you guys? And the answer is yes. Let me rephrase the question.
Okay. Well, you don't even ask the question then.
Let me rephrase the question. Favorite sports movies?
There's a lot of...
I have a list here.
I'm gonna ask a question here. I think I know the answer to, but we are setting aside sports documentaries as their own thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can put those in the category, but
I think
I'm not versed in that at all.
I wouldn't call a sports documentary a sports movie. I think, especially based on the things we've laid out here.
I have one
it's
exception
different.
to that. I'd like to pose
Last
one
chance
movie
you.
as one. I think we often don't talk about movies on the Cinema Lounge. Documentaries.
We never talk about movies here.
we often don't talk about documentaries.
Books
on
only.
The Cinema Lounge. We should maybe do it more often.
I'd do
There's a
Ken
category.
Burn
There's a
special.
freaking category in the
in the
Academy
Oscars,
Awards. So,
yeah, we'll talk about it.
But one movie I think maybe bridges the gap a little bit. I'm curious what you think. Free Solo is technically a documentary,
yeah.
but it's almost a film.
I've never been more tense in my entire life than watching this man who I know survived because he's doing talking head interviews climb that mountain by himself.
Yeah, holy
with no,
smokes. Oh,
like-
my hands were sweaty. My feet were sweaty.
My regular human-sized hands.
Yeah,
Not my massive Alex Konold
fingers that
golem
pull you
hands.
up
Yeah.
by-
terrifying.
See, and Free Solo does kind of follow the formula of what we've laid out here of what a sports movie is. So that may count. It's a great movie. But then I look at something like The Last Dance. I know it's a docu-series, but it doesn't quite follow that same formula because you're going back through the years of Michael Jordan's career while telling the story of his final championship with the Bulls, which was kind of an underdog story, but also you've won 2 straight. Like, how much of an underdog is it to go win a 3rd? So that doesn't necessarily fit what we're talking about here. So I was assuming that we'd keep it to the sports movies.
Read
I
me
think
back the definition,
regular movies.
Marshall.
We'll read back the definition. This
to
is
Merriam-Webster.
yes, this is from movie tropes, oh my gosh, TV tropes. So embarrassing. The genre of fiction that, it says fiction. We can ignore that. The genre that places the focus on sports, usually following a player, coach, or team as they challenge themselves to rise to the top of the sport in question. Sports stories can span a single game. I think this is the thing, is that movies, a documentary is a movie. It falls into that category. What we're talking about is more feature film.
Yeah, sure.
Which is a different format than movie overall. Movie is a larger category. and you move down that genealogy tree chart, whatever you want to call it, and then you would get these different things underneath that. So I think it would, by definition, count, but I would say we could probably just keep it to like movie, feature film, whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Well, I came prepared with a favorite movie from each of the major sports in America.
Whoa!
Holy shoot!
I was just very much struggling to narrow it down to one singular movie.
That's great. I mean, I have a list of like 12.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Wait. So each sport. Could you give me the sport before you give us your answer, and can me and Marshall guess it? So could you say like?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sure. Let's start with football.
give me.
Yeah, freaking genius. Let's go, content.
Start with football. There's two here that I really couldn't decide between, but I think I do have a number one on top of the other.
My
Football?
immediate thought is Remember the Titans.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess Rudy.
Those are you got the two.
Let's go.
There we
You got the two
go.
I couldn't decide between.
Yeah, we're genius.
A great performance by Denzel Washington
Fantastic.
in Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
Does set it apart in its own way. But there was if you guys know the comedian Shane Gillis, we were talking a little bit off air about
Yes.
this. Shane Gillis has a great joke about like just how unrealistic it is that like a high school football season is like 8 weeks long, and you're telling me that this football team in the course of 8 weeks is able to eliminate all racism from their racist town with 200 years of ingrained racism in it within an 8-week stretch because hey these black kids can play football too. Like a little bit unrealistic there, but still a great heart.
The heart, Osborne. First, we attack his heart.
Warming story, and I think important. Rudy, that's a classic. Like Rudy's a movie. Legitimately, every single August when football season's getting going, I will find a night to sit down and rewatch Rudy yet again because of the way it makes you feel. That's kind of one of the things we talked about. It's like that underdog story. You can relate with Rudy. You're the average kid who is not meant to be a football player. God did not create Rudy Rudiger to be a football player. It's as simple as that. Yet through hard work, through dedication, and through really challenging himself, he's able to get a spot in the Notre Dame football team. And then that moment at the end where he gets into a football game because he wasn't going to make the roster, but then all his teammates wouldn't stood up for him and allow him to get a spot on the field in his final game as a senior. And then at the end of the game, it's a blowout. They let Rudy get in. He gets a sack. Like, it makes me feel things every single time.
Yeah.
That's why I think Rudy might be on top just because of how special that one scene, that last
It's also
15
real.
minutes of the movie is it like that sets it apart. But those are my top two.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay. Sweet.
Wow. That's good to say. Also, good to say. Good to know. Good to know for
That is
for, as a
good to
brother.
say.
That's a good thing to say, bro.
What a weird Man, that's a good thing you said.
What?
We're professionals
I think
here.
I was combining multiple thoughts in my brain. What I was trying to say was good to compare differences as well. In my brain, at least, as I'm hearing you say that a little bit, is like, yes, great films, good movie. I'm personally identifying with Rudy as well because
You're a loser.
I'm a loser. Because God hates
not a
me. No,
loser.
because a lot of people watching the movie are in the position of like, oh man, I was the kid who wasn't super gifted. That like, if I could live that dream of just working really hard, I could make it too, or whatever. Like like there's a little piece of everybody that can connect to that. Also, though, I think it is interesting those two movies. What you were saying with race kind of stuff, right? An eloquent way of saying that, race kind of stuff. But I'm curious, and I think this is a greater issue in sports movies. Is like Rudy, a famous movie about the blue collar white kid who worked hard and earned his spot.
It would go on to fraud people with his company. That's what kind of takes a little
There's
shot.
a real story. Yeah, he was arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What it was was it a beer company that he made? Or it was like
was-
the Rudy Rudiger beer or something like that. And then it ended up just being like a whole like Ponzi scheme.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and that takes a little luster off the Rudy story, but I still love the movie.
Yeah, the real life. Yeah, it's not great. Anyway, I wonder how the three of us sitting around, three white dudes, our favorite. Yeah, a listener on the podcast. You can't see us right now, but we are three dudes who are white. I wonder how that impacts our favorite sports movies, like being able to see ourselves. I see myself in Rudy.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
I'm-
see myself in Denzel.
But you get what I'm saying, though, right? That
Yeah.
like I think sports movies that highlight the voice of marginalized people in the world or in the United States is interesting, especially because of the contributions of minorities to sports.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a good thing to acknowledge going forward. At least is there's parts of Rudy that I identify more with than Remember the Titans.
And
because
the
I'm a
remember
white
the
guy, you
remember
know?
the Titans aspects kind of gets back to my point about how sports brings people together. That's what's so special about it in society, and that movie is just such a perfect way to describe sports as a whole. Remember the Titans, that nothing is able to bring this town together. There's racism that's ingrained. It's never going away until sports and having this great high school football team that can make the whole town proud
Yeah.
is able to bring people together, because they look at their kids that are on the team, and the white kids are friends with black kids, and the black kids are friends with white kids, and they're all one team, and like the town kind of realizes we can put our differences past and come together with this one football team, and that's what makes it kind of special. Is it does represent a time in America and what sports does in society, and that's what it like that
But
movie makes you
still,
feel
like,
things
slightly
too.
problematic, right? Like the idea that like black people are worth it when they're good on the sports team, or like, you know, right? Like
I think it would be more weird if it was a white coach coming in and solving all the problems, but that it's
Right.
Denzel coming in and bridging that gap makes it a little less.
Well, it's also based partially on a true story.
yeah.
right. Yeah. Which
yeah.
is great. Yeah, I think
So you're saying that God is at fault?
no, I'm just saying that like I think it's also problematic when maybe I shouldn't use that word. Maybe that's too woke. I think it is an unfortunate trope that when people say like, "Oh, equity and equality are here because like, haven't you seen how many rich people there are that play in the NFL that are not white or something
Yeah.
like that?" You know. Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to.
No, continue.
But yeah, I think
That's-
I think
yeah.
it's an interesting piece of sports movies. I think race
Yeah.
is an interesting piece, which is also why like I think within King Richard or like there's a lot of sports movies that like speak to that experience. Which movie is it with the
Ford versus
with the
Ferrari is
black
all about race.
basketball team?
Glory Road.
Glory Road. Fantastic. Yeah, I did like speaking to that experience, or like quite a few movies about like the Negro Leagues and
Well, yeah,
like-
42 about Jackie
Yeah.
Robinson, which we already mentioned here on the pod.
Right, yeah. But
Yeah.
Glory Road, like athletes like facing racism and yeah, I don't know, I think
overcome
that's-
going to Rupp Arena, or I guess that was before it was Rupp Arena. That's when Coach Rupp was still coaching Kentucky. But like, yeah, how
Yeah.
Coach Carter was able to go and that's not Coach Carter. Never mind. That's another great movie. Coach Carter's another great basketball movie about inner city kids coming together and kind of overcoming the problems that they face in the hood by
Yeah.
coming together in a basketball team with a hard-edged basketball coach like Coach Carter. Wow, another great movie. That's one that I completely forgot about. I just threw it in there. I went, oh yeah, Coach Carter, and then I went, that's its own movie altogether.
What was the
yeah,
what
wow.
was the Ron Howard one with Chris Hemsworth? Is it F1 racing?
There is
That's
an
my-
F1 movie.
If I like that
oh,
more than I
s-
like Ford versus Ferrari, does that make me racist?
Well, that wasn't.
Yes. No.
It's different kinds of
it's called
races.
Speed. Is that
Come
Speed?
on!
Is
No,
it Speed?
It's called Rush.
Rush.
I'm just
yeah.
trying to set up the joke.
There was a joke there.
It was.
You love Rush.
No, I said something really good earlier and no one heard it. And I tried to do it differently and it didn't work the different way.
It's okay. I'm sorry.
No,
But the podcast listener heard it.
Anyway, should we move on to the next sport?
Yeah,
next
yeah,
sport?
we're, yeah,
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 next
that'd be
sport.
great.
Well, do you have so many football movies you want to bring up? I didn't mention. Those
No,
are
let's
kind of
move
the
on.
two
No.
kings of the football
Move
genre.
on. That one.
Aside from Little Giants, but
Oh, hey, Icebox.
I saw a little conversation on there was I can't remember which director it was now. He's talking about maybe doing a Little Giants remake, which would be very exciting.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he wanted to do a Little Giants movie that
could be good.
that featured like black kids. He's like, I want something that black kids can look up to, and like
Interesting.
feature an all black staff, like an all black football team that everyone counts out because they don't have the funds
Oh,
to be able
interesting.
to go up against like these white teams. Anyway,
Get a
Wow.
Muppet
I digress.
Babies remake.
We can move on to let's go to baseball then. Baseball is
Okay.
a great American pastime, and I have one that stands alone among all the other ones.
Really?
I think Ben, with the face that he's giving me,
I think it's gonna be a deep cut. I'll let Marshall guess first.
So there are two.
there's a lot of good baseball.
You said deep cut, which makes me want to choose one that is not in any way recent.
My guess is gonna be pre 1990.
Okay.
one
This is
year.
I don't know you that well or at all. So I'm gonna first of all my first shot.
Wait,
would be,
no. Oh, wait. There's a way better one. That's
My first
not
choice
the
would
one
be
I was thinking
Moneyball.
of. Oh, nice.
and then so that's not it. Based on that reaction.
I want to hear your guesses. Let's hear the full guesses. I'll once you guys get through your guesses, I'll reveal.
Yeah.
Okay. The
My other one was gonna be The Natural.
Oh, The Natural is a good movie. The Natural is a good movie. That's not the one I was thinking of.
Okay, two baseball movies that both came out in 1989. My first guess that I thought was going to be an interesting one was maybe going to be Major League.
That's a great guess. That was on the short list.
Really? My second guess is Field of Dreams. Both baseball movies, 1989.
You were wrong with both.
Ow!
A League of Their Own is also fantastic.
That's
it's fun.
softball, but baseball. Actually,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It is baseball.
I'm Elijah. I work for the radio.
You know, it is. It's about softball players. Well, this is before softball.
Sandlot.
I guess, but The Sandlot's a great movie. It was actually Moneyball.
Oh, really?
Hey!
Nice, Marshall.
Moneyball is my favorite baseball movie of all time.
Wow, yeah.
It's the way it makes you feel, like the underdog Oakland A's, and being a baseball fan.
Yeah.
Knowing, the Oakland A's are terrible every single year, and just great performances all around. You have Jonah Hill.
This is like his
Doing a role-
first major dramatic role.
Yeah, I was gonna say first major dramatic role where he can show that he can be a different type of actor. He does so well in that movie. That movie is one of those ones that anytime it's on TV, I don't change the channel. I'm gonna watch that movie till the end. The scene where they're playing the Royals at home with the winning streak on the line, they about blow the lead and they hit that walk-off home run to set the winning streak. Oh, what a scene! That makes you feel things in like the score, and that is perfect. I love Moneyball. I'll say if I go through the short list, some other ones that are included. Major League is a great movie if you haven't seen it. It's less of it's a comedy.
It's a comedy.
It's a comedy. A group of plucky underdogs, the Cleveland Indians, that nobody wants to win because the ownership wants to tank the team.
It's
They
OG
want.
Ted Lasso. It's literally
Yes.
Ted Lasso. Literally kind of stole
Okay.
the plot
Yes,
from.
it's exactly that. The team owner wants to sell the team, and she wants to like tank the team in order to hurt her. Is it ex-husband? Something like that.
It's
It's
literally
very
That
very,
is Ted Lasso.
very similar to Ted Lasso. Great movie. We reference on our Hail Varsity show Wild Thing all the time. Hilarious with Charlie Sheen.
is perfectly Charlie Sheen in the movie.
Okay.
Yes, he is this crazy eccentric pitcher that can't hit the strike zone, but man, does he throw it hard. Okay. And the whole movie is like he's a wild thing. Like you don't know where it's going, but when it goes down the middle of the zone, it's impossible to hit.
The way they solve it is
Yeah.
they give him glasses.
And then you got Jobu's rum.
Oh yeah.
The superstition where you got Jobu's got his bottle of rum that he sits in his locker. It's just a great sports movie. That's one of those ones that you don't want to ruin it by explaining the whole plot
Sure.
to somebody who hasn't seen it here.
Yeah.
Love Major League. Bull Durham. Have you guys seen Bull Durham?
I'm not.
I saw it on the list that I was looking at, but I have not watched it.
Okay, Bull Durham's another one that just kind of heartwarming and kind of gets to the heart of what baseball is in America. It's about an aging catcher who has kind of past his prime. He's been sent down to the Durham Bulls, a very not glorious minor league baseball team.
True story or
It's completely fictional.
okay, so it doesn't matter.
No, so it's a very real team. The Durham Bulls is a real baseball team, but he gets sent down there. Now he has to go live the unglamorous life of being a minor league baseball player.
Sure.
And I think he's a guy that like reached the majors like once for a short period of time, but he's been like a career minor leaguer, and now he's at this very unglorious stop.
Oh, this is the one with Kevin Costner.
Yeah, Kevin Costner's in it.
Oh, yeah, and he's like calling his wife in the phone. But yeah, okay, yep, I have.
Not
seen
his
this.
wife. Well, he during the movie, he is finding love while he is at this unglorious stop, and he's trying to train up this young pitcher that's going to be the next big thing in the majors, and he's trying to show him how to be a professional baseball player. And the hijinks that ensue with this nearly 40-year-old catcher trying to deal with this 22-year-old pitcher who is thinking he's living the life when he's living in Durham, North Carolina, playing for the Durham Bulls. A great baseball movie. That one's fun, but Moneyball stands above the rest.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there's so many baseball movies that's the hardest category to choose from
Yeah.
for me.
Angels in the
Just because there's
outfield.
so I didn't even think of that
on,
one.
man. Yeah,
I love
I know.
Angels in the
Yeah,
Outfield.
what's
The Rookie of the Year
Yeah.
Not seen
with
that
with the kid that breaks his arm.
What?
You seen this? And then whenever he gets out of the cast, it's discovered that he can now throw a 90+ mile an hour fastball because of how they surgically repaired his arm. So he's like this 12-year-old kid that plays for the Chicago Cubs.
Funny. I've never seen.
I've only heard
that's
of
not
that
Rookie of the
because
Year,
it's
though.
used as a punchline so often on so many different podcasts I've listened to.
That is so funny.
Like I hear about that in the same sentence as like Robo Kid, the kid who transforms into a car.
Oh, which is different than the movie called The Rookie.
Yeah, there's the Rookie and Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're right.
The Rookie
And the
is
Sandlot?
not Paul Newman. That's Robert Redford. The Natural is Paul Newman.
Yes.
The Rookie is Dennis Quaid.
where he's the old guy that thinks he's past his prime with baseball, and then he shows up to like a little scouting day and he's still throwing 90 plus, and then he gets signed.
One time I was playing charades. And it was like homemade charades where we were writing down the names of the things and putting it in the hat. And someone pulled out Dennis Quaid, but the handwriting was bad, and so they thought it said Penis Quaid. It was so funny, and it was charades, so we had no idea what he was doing. Well, we got the first part right. Quaid was a little harder.
That would be the easy part.
Yeah.
Okay,
unfortunately.
my honorable mention among the baseball movies, though, The Sandlot.
Yep.
Classic. It's more of a coming of age story than it is a baseball or a sports movie.
yeah.
So that's why that one kind of takes a back seat. I don't think it necessarily fits. Sports is a part of the movie, but I don't think it's a sports movie because it's about this kid going and trying to find his friend group and coming of age through the sport of baseball and through meeting kids on the Sandlot. So it doesn't quite
I
fit.
included that just because, like, I think a lot of my favorite, what I would call sports movies, are movies that aren't necessarily about the sport as much as the sport is a vehicle for the story that is being told. And I would definitely include that in that category.
Yeah.
The same way that, like, zombie movies are not about zombies. It's just the setting, essentially.
I think these baseball movies follow the trope that we've been talking about more than even some of the other movies. I think boxing movies and baseball movies both follow it harder than some of the other stuff that we've mentioned, which I think is funny.
Okay, last one I'll include my honorable mention list.
Okay.
It's a Keanu Reeves movie, Hardball. It's about this white guy, Keanu Reeves, that goes to inner city Chicago and coaches a team of inner city kids that want to play baseball while they try to navigate. It sounds like a comedy. One of the most heartbreaking scenes in sports movies
Wow.
that you could imagine. It's just about like these kids trying to make it in a very tough inner city Chicago area while trying to use baseball as their vehicle to get out and kind of keep themselves straight and out of trouble. Another really good movie that I recommend.
Yeah.
It's not the best movie of all time, but it's got its moments.
Sure.
Huh,
Next
wow.
sport. Next sport. Next sport.
Next sport, hockey.
Miracle.
Easy.
Mighty Ducks. Quack. Quack.
It's
quack,
Miracle.
Quack.
There was
Mighty
a long-
Ducks is good.
Yeah. There was a long time where I thought Mighty Ducks. I don't know how this got into my head. I have not seen Mighty Ducks.
Okay.
And there was a very long time where I thought that Mighty Ducks was a movie about probably still Emilio Estevez coaching a team of human-sized duck children to play hockey. And I don't know, like literally, like, imagine, this is what I saw in my head, is imagine the costume and makeup from Howard the Duck.
Yes.
But make it Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and the size of children. And that is what I thought the Mighty Ducks was for an extremely long time.
That's actually what the new show is on Disney Plus.
See, I don't know if that's true.
It's not true.
My biggest problem with the Mighty Ducks is, first off,
They're not real ducks.
Yeah.
well, that's a
Talk about
problem.
problematic.
Yeah.
That's a
They
problem.
didn't even cast ducks.
Dude, that's just the ultimate case of, I mean, that's,
Cultural appropriation.
yeah, there's a better word out there, but it's okay. I digress.
Go for it.
The problem is it doesn't stand the test of time with me. It's got the nostalgia factor for me. Remember that when I was a kid, and then you go watch it when you're older, and you go, "Wow, this movie sucks.
Really?
This movie is not good." And then they went and ruined it with 2 more sequels,
Yeah.
which are even worse than
Two
the originals.
Mighty Two Ducks.
Like it's got a special place in my heart. Because of the nostalgia. Not a good movie. Miracle, objectively, is a good movie.
Yes. Okay.
And we're also actually, as we record this podcast, we're 1 day removed from the anniversary of the Miracle
Oh,
on
yeah, I
Ice.
saw that on Twitter.
Oh, that's fun.
So this is actually a timely episode for us to be
Hell
recording.
yeah.
This is why we did it, right, Marshall?
This is the reason that happens weirdly often. When we did our episode on Raiders of the Lost Ark, I looked at Twitter the day that it came out, and it was trending, and I was like, "Whoa, we have a lot more reach than I thought." But no, it was like the 30th anniversary of one of the Indiana Jones movies or something. That the same thing happened with the Batman. It was the anniversary of the trailer coming out or something.
Crazy.
It happens weirdly
Crazy
often.
how the Lord works. Strange.
It's
in
true.
strange ways.
Miracles.
Yeah. Also,
the real miracle.
listener, you can't see this, but Elijah doesn't really have a list in front of him.
No, he just
are you
has this
pulling
in
it
his
up?
head.
Oh, okay.
I have a lot of it in my head.
Wow, that's impressive.
I'm pulling up some facts on Miracle to make sure I don't mess it up, such as I couldn't remember Kurt Russell's name.
It's
That
Kurt
was the main
Russell.
reason. Yeah. Kurt Russell's the coach in Miracle, though. That's a great story. It makes you feel national pride as an American. I'm not
Yeah.
sure how our listeners in Germany would feel about this, but it's
Oh, no, as long as they're they're in West Germany,
Well, it uses
not East Germany.
it uses sports, as we've talked about. Sports is the vehicle to tell the story of the United States being better at everything than the Soviet Union.
Yes.
Which is one of my favorite stories of all time.
Yeah,
is
hell
the
yeah.
United States sticking it to the Soviets.
It's been called the greatest story ever told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also a sports movie.
Yeah, wait a second, it is. What is that?
That's golf. Oh, that's the greatest game ever played.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dude, speaking of a sport that is America sticking it to the Soviet Union, have you seen a new trailer that's been out recently? Just released?
No.
It's a sports movie. It's
I
an
swear.
esports movie.
Oh, I'm thinking of something very different
It's
then.
Tetris.
Oh,
an
I
Apple
did see
original
that.
movie.
Yeah.
It's the story of Tetris being invented in the Soviet Union and being smuggled out to the Western world. Yeah. It's an
Apple
esport.
is
It counts.
doing cool
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah, it's
they did
weird.
Greatest Beer Run.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Anyway, Elijah, sorry. Back to you talking about Miracle. Kurt Russell
The Miracle on Ice.
beating the Soviet Union in
One
an
of the
unlikely
greatest
way.
and one of the greatest underdog stories of all time. It's
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
team of college kids. It's not even professional hockey players. They go literally get killed by the Soviets year in, year out. They're losing 16-1 in hockey.
Because the United States doesn't allow professional hockey players in the Olympics, but
Yes.
everywhere else does.
kind of yes, kind of no.
Okay.
It's a whole thing. Essentially, this is 1980. If you remember the dream team of basketball, that's whenever the United States finally kind of changed their tune and said, well, you know what, pro athletes can go play in the Olympics too.
Yeah.
Then this was a U.S. Olympic, what is that, the Olympic Committee, USOC, the United States Olympic Committee. It was like their decision. Pro athletes don't play. This is a thing of amateurs, but then the Olympics were slowly changing over time. But this is the team everyone counted out. They're a team of college kids that are going and playing pro hockey players from Russia. It's the Russian national team, and they go find a way to beat them. Great story. It's told perfectly, and apparently it's actually somewhat realistic. They do a decent job of sticking to actual history. And I just watched a great YouTube video down the rabbit hole of where are these players now?
Yeah.
Like these college kids, like what had happened to their pro careers, what actually ended up happening to them. It's really interesting. They've all done different branches of life that are not even connected at all to hockey, but they're all national heroes. Great movie, and that's probably the ultimate underdog story. And it follows Kurt Russell, coach, don't even remember his name, but he goes and brings these players together. And without him, that's the focus of the movie. Is like this would have never happened. So great movie.
Herb Brooks.
Coach
Oh,
Brooks,
yeah.
of course. Of course. How could I forget?
Of course.
Never forget Herb.
Interesting. Wow. Hockey. Check.
Check.
Is there
Next
any other
sport. Next
Yeah,
sport.
let's just move on. Yeah. There's probably
Was there
other
another hockey
movies,
movie?
No, Miracle's really about it.
Next sport. Next sport.
So let's go basketball.
but- Okay.
Basketball.
Hoop Dreams.
A great movie. I'm not sure. That's one that rides the line. I think it's a documentary.
Oh no, it is.
Really?
I was joking anyway.
But that's kind of why that was literally one of the movies I had in mind whenever I was thinking of, are we going to include sports documentaries here? Because Hoop Dreams is like the basketball story.
Yeah.
But it is true events. It is a story. It's two high school kids in, I believe, California.
I have no info. I know nothing.
And it's them trying to go live their NBA dream, and it follows them as basketball is the vehicle of the story of these kids' lives and the hardships that they face, which is, now that I talk about it, a major theme in sports movies.
Yeah.
Kids trying to overcome hardships in their personal life or their situation, their circumstances through sports, and that's like the ultimate example of it. It's like a 3-hour documentary. It's a marathon.
Not bad.
Well worth the watch. It is like the sports documentary that everyone tries to live up to, just because it never was meant to reach the scope that it did. With it was supposed to just be, oh yeah, these kids want to make it to the NBA. Let's go shoot some stuff on them and see what happens. And it ends up being so much deeper than that as they try to
Interesting.
toil through. I think it's Compton, but I could be wrong in the city.
Cool.
Do you have any other guesses here of what the top sports movies are?
don't
We've
think-
mentioned a good number of them already
Yeah,
in the show.
I haven't
One
seen a
that-
lot of basketball movies.
One that we haven't said that I would be curious if that's your top. My guess is going to be Hoosiers.
that was I was gonna say just because I know it's
I
notable.
don't know if you've seen it. I'm curious if you would like the movie White Men Can't Jump, but I've never seen it.
They're
and so
doing a
I
new
don't-
one with
I don't-
Jack Harlow.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that one, so I'm not gonna. My guess is gonna be Hoosiers. Locking it in.
I'll say Coach Carter, so we have some variety.
This was really, really hard to pick a favorite in. It is Hoosiers.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. Okay.
It is Hoosiers. Hoosiers is like the classic story
Yeah.
of like basketball.
Also,
and
like-
it's also in the state of Indiana, which is like, as of 50 years ago, the home of basketball. The
Is that
other
the one with Woody
finalists-
Harrelson?
The one with Woody Harrelson? No.
That is White-
That's White Men Can't Jump.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Hoosiers is the one with what's his name?
Is that the guy
Gene
from-
Hackman? Is it Gene
yeah,
Hackman?
Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman?
Yeah,
He's the coach.
it's a very
I
good
need to
movie.
watch Hoosiers.
It's a super good movie. Yeah, it's 1950s, the classic. We're gonna get to the state championship by
Yes.
state championship. We're gonna get to the championship game by playing solid fundamentals, hustling, working hard, out rebounding. That's kind of the
Yeah.
classic. But it is kind of fun because it's the whole again, people coming from rough backgrounds and a coach that really cares. Like
Yeah.
a big part of the story is the coach. I feel like Gene Hackman plays a big part of the story.
Gene
of
Hackman,
like,
always incredible.
I feel like anybody who's been a coach probably has seen this movie and thought, I want to be like Gene Hackman's character in this. Also based on a true story.
Yes, 100% based on a true story.
cool.
This also really closely follows. So it's like a farm town in Indiana where they end up through whatever the coach's name is, Gene Hackman's character. They end up going and building a basketball dynasty of the most unlikely sort. So it's these farm kids coming together. They have one really good player on the team, and that's it. And then there's so many good little side stories in it where you have the alcoholic assistant coach who is able to somewhat beat his alcoholism through basketball, and that's kind of based on a true story as well. Hoosiers is a great movie. That's a classic. My be-all end-all with this, see what I avoided saying there? My be-all end-all with movies was which is the one that if I see it on TV, I would not flip away from it, and Hoosiers is the basketball movie for me. The other options in there were the ones we've mentioned, Coach Carter, which I just thought of during the show. Coach Carter is up there along with Glory Road.
Nice.
Those are probably the top 3 basketball
Finding
movies.
Forrester. Don't worry about it.
That one
It's
right over my head.
it's not a very good movie.
What I feel like
Sean
what's-
Connery is a reclusive writer who wants a young inner city boy to teach him how to play basketball or something. It's been a while since I watched it. It was an English class thing.
Classic.
Oh, man.
One thing, one we did not mention here, Space Jam.
Oh,
You guys have thoughts on Space Jam?
That's fun. It's playing at the Alamo this month, and I thought about going to watch it.
That is fun.
To me, it's the same kind of thing as what I said with Mighty Ducks. The nostalgia factor is there, but then you go rewatch the movie and you go,
Yeah.
it's really just all
but
right.
still better than the second one.
It's an
so-
underdog story, though. You know, it's this baseball player who's like gonna become a big basketball star with the help of the Looney Tunes.
Yeah, big underdog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially when he's
Nobody knows who
and
he
he's
is.
actually playing golf at the beginning of the movie.
Oh,
so,
that's
come
true, that's
on.
true, that's
Yeah,
true.
You know.
With the other golf players, Larry Bird,
Yeah.
famous golfers.
Elijah, I'm trying to think of what sports categories you haven't hit yet. Fighting category, boxing category.
Fighting and golf, I think, are the 2.
Oh, okay.
Golf,
And-
Caddyshack.
Golf. That one with Shia LaBeouf.
The greatest game ever played.
Yeah, the greatest game ever played.
You're both wrong.
A golf movie.
I'm trying to think of other golf movies.
Well, we just said that he's golfing
said
when
the
he
2
gets
golf
sucked
movies.
into
That's
Space
true. Is
Jam.
it Space Jam? Is it Space Jam 2: A New Legacy?
I feel like I'm forgetting something.
This one does have both Will Smith and Matt Damon.
Oh God, what's the name of that movie? The not. Oh God, as soon as I know the movie, I'm thinking of
Give me a
it.
year.
It's he's the caddy.
Probably like it's got to be 2000
Frick,
or so.
what's his name? It's a weird name. Bagger Vance.
Yes, The Legend of Bagger Vance.
Oh,
Thank you.
I have not
feel
seen
good.
this.
Did I even? Oh, it's good.
So it's an interesting one about this. Matt Damon is the golfer who used to be really, really good, but has kind of become a recluse in his town. He kind of lost the game. He got the yips, if you will.
Sure.
Can never quite reclaim.
Yips.
Could never quite reclaim his former glory. But now there's a big time golf tournament coming to town, and they need him to come play in this golf tournament in order to, well, A, get the locals excited about it, but to B, also get to 3 golfers in it, because it's just a 3-man little invitational.
And to win back his love.
That's
Will Smith.
that's what eventually convinces
Not
him.
Will Smith.
That's
Willow Smith,
Not Willow.
what's her
Smith.
name?
The Legend of Bagger Vance.
Judy Dench,
Theron. Theron.
Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's you gotta win that love back.
Yeah, no, she's the love interest. So anyway, that's what finally convinces him is maybe to go play golf. And then it's called The Legend of Bagger Vance because it's like Will Smith coming in as like this weird spiritual entity that you don't know if he's a real person or not. Like saying like, no, this is how you got to get back to your roots of playing golf. It's a childhood game.
It's a good film. I should rewatch that. Wow,
Great
I
film.
haven't thought
It's
of that.
free on
in a
Disney+.
while.
Got to watch Hoosiers. Got to watch The Legend of Bagger Vance.
It's good.
We have one more category.
Yeah. Do we want to go fighting
Yes.
movies? There's a lot of options here.
There are a lot of
boxing. Are you saying boxing
movies.
or are you saying fighting?
That's true because
Fighting.
Okay.
But Fight Club does not count.
Okay,
Fight
good.
Club doesn't count. You say it first, Marshall. Go ahead.
Do
Sorry.
you think you know?
No, I don't know, but I just have a fun guess.
I have not seen Raging Bull. That's another one of those major gaps in my viewing. Cinderella Man is very good, but I feel like it lives in the tropes a little too much to be one of the all-time peaks for me. I haven't seen The Fighter, David O. Russell. Oh, gosh. I don't know. I'm going to just say Raging Bull, I guess. Or Ali. Ali's another one.
I haven't seen Ali actually.
Okay, it's not that.
I think you're probably gonna say.
Oh, Rocky!
Nice. Yeah. Hey, that's good. I think you're probably gonna say Creed, but my spicy guess for fighting movie is The Karate Kid.
Oh, I have the Karate Kid on my list as
Yeah,
well.
Come on.
I do want to talk about Rocky versus Creed, though, because I feel like Creed does eclipse Rocky in certain ways that are like not better, but like different in really interesting ways.
I think so too. Elijah, what's your
Go for it.
Well, I want to take you through
professional
some of the honorable mentions that I
Okay.
did actually enjoy.
Yeah.
One of them features a young Miles Teller. Bleed for this.
Oh, okay.
Honorable
I've not heard
mention.
of that.
It's about a guy who gets a traumatic brain injury. Oh no, a broken neck in a car accident, and he has to work his way back.
And it's not Whiplash?
And no, he ends up becoming he was a great boxer, loses it all, and like the whole risk is if you get back into boxing, it could kill
Your
you.
brain will explode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's about him saying, I love this. I'm gonna bleed for this.
That's pretty good.
So anyway,
Your
he comes
hand
back
is
in.
raised. You have a
I
question?
thought of one more $1 Million Baby. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
$1 Million Baby's not it. I'm sorry. Rocky's another one up there. That's also kind of a nostalgia factor. Really, at the end of the day, it's just an average movie. It's kind of boring, actually. The end is great. End is great.
Of Rocky?
Rocky.
Yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those period movies that are
It's
classic, but a slow burn.
I think it's one that if you go into it expecting it to be something like Creed or to be a more traditional sports movie, it's not that. It is much more contemplative and thinky than you would think it would be.
Isn't also the backstory to it that Sylvester Stallone
He was like literally living in his car.
made it happen
The
himself?
dog in the movie was his dog, and he had to sell the dog to survive. And then he bought the dog back when he got the money for the movie, and that's the dog in the movie.
What?
He wrote the script. He did it on the
wrote the
condition
script
that he
for
could
himself,
direct it. Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to direct it. This is my movie. Like, I'm the only person that can star in this. This is for
That
me.
is so bad.
Stallone is the underdog of the Rocky story.
That's crazy.
The backstory behind Rocky is what makes it good. It's not the movie itself. my top boxing movie is Raging Bull.
Okay.
Okay. Huh.
I mean,
Yeah.
have you never seen it?
No.
It's a Scorsese film.
I started to watch it one day, and then I had to
as
go
though
somewhere.
we're like some highbrow movie critics here in the lounge.
I mean,
You're right, we are.
Here's the thing: is that I should have seen it because I haven't seen Raging Bull, but I have seen Mean Streets, which is kind of silly. If I'm gonna choose a random Scorsese movie, why am I choosing Mean Streets? But I haven't seen. I started to watch it one day, and then I had to leave or go somewhere or something. I didn't finish it, but I know it's supposed to be like fantastic, and that De Niro puts on an amazing performance as Jake LaMotta.
Yep.
Like the transformation that he takes as this guy slowly changes is apparently, because I haven't seen it, incredible.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen it, the whole gist of the movie is that it's this middleweight boxer, Robert De Niro, who's trying to rise his way through the ranks and go get the belt, go be the best in the world.
Yeah.
Falls in love with a girl in the process, but then as time goes on, adversity strikes and it sends him into this downward spiral that kind of ruins his life. It's not a non-traditional sports movie. It's a movie about the life of whatever the guy's name is.
Jake
again.
LaMotta.
Yeah,
Real
Jake
guy,
LaMotta. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the story of his life told through boxing and training for boxing. Kind of art house. It's all in black and white.
That's cool.
Good boxing movie. I will say boxing was my least favorite category here, despite there being some
Wow.
some really highly grossing movies in this category.
Huh.
The boxing
Why
movies never
is
quite
that,
struck
do
a
you
chord.
think? Why do you think it's so highly grossing and yet, like, not that compelling to you?
It might just be the generation that we live in. Boxing doesn't have the same hold over society that did in the 1980s.
I mean, it
When
used to be
Mike
the thing.
Tyson was the guy.
Yeah, right.
Sure. I mean, even like up until the 1980s, really, because the boxing, now it's much more MMA if we're getting into a fighting thing. But boxing was like the thing. It was always, did you see the fight? Did you watch the fight? I'm
Yeah. Well,
going to
and,
go
like,
talk to my bookie
post-Rocky
or
and-
whatever. You look at
Yeah.
old sitcoms and stuff, and they're always talking about the boxing match that, like on
Yeah.
Dick Van Dyke or even I Love Lucy and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it was like that in baseball. Those were the American sports.
Yeah. Which there's some, speaking of documentaries, if you want to watch interesting documentaries, I feel like there's quite a few very cool documentaries about boxers in the 30s, 40s, 50s, like real life interesting stories. I feel
Yeah.
like, yeah, anyway. But
It was a lot more primal
but
back
that's-
then too. Like a lot of sports were, like Leatherheads.
Yeah.
There's a movie about the early early football.
yeah. Huh. That's fascinating. Yeah, that's just really, I mean, obviously Creed 3 is coming out. Hey, there
It
it
is.
is out.
I still need to see
It
Creed
is
2.
out. Yeah, I just need to see all three of them.
So do we go track and field cross country next?
Okay, Chariots of Fire.
No, that's not my guess. You're gonna say that one about the Texas high school. No, wait, there's a different one. No, just tell us.
McFarland USA.
McFarland USA, is that it?
Oh,
Okay,
that's
Kevin-
pretty
Kevin
recent, isn't
Costner?
it?
Yeah,
Kevin
Kevin
Costner.
Costner.
Last couple years.
Yeah, well, it's the only cross country track and field movie I know. So
Okay, right.
Yeah,
Besides-
easy choice.
You should
I've never
watch
seen.
Chariots of
I've
Fire.
never seen Chariots of
Chariots of
Fire.
Fire is really good. It is another one of those ones where it's not about any specific big race necessarily. It's a British fighter, a British runner and a Jewish runner, and they. It's not about the two of them together, but like the two of them separately as they are going and training up to be in the Olympics eventually. But it's about these guys and their lives separately. And it's obviously got the iconic score by Vangelis, who died, I think, last year, actually. The bum, 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 them
Yeah,
running
yeah,
on the
yeah.
beach.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Incredible score, but the story is really good too. It's another one that is kind of like Rocky in that it's not like super invigorating. Watch the crazy miracle slap shot, whatever. It's much more contemplative, these guys thinking about the direction of their lives and what they're doing. And do I keep running or do I listen to my wife and stop running because she wants me to hold back and Ian Holm wants me to keep going or whatever? It's very good. It's a different kind of sports movie, but I love it quite a bit.
The only other one I can think of is Race, which is the story of Jesse Owens, but it's not that great of a movie. It's a
good title.
It's but a good subject matter.
I don't think I have any other. Yeah.
But yours is McFarland USA.
Yeah, McFarland USA is just simply it's again that story of sports being the vehicle to allow kids to pull themselves from their circumstances. These are Mexican families that are out working the fields, and these kids we don't have time for them to run. They need to be working the fields. We need to make ends meet, and it's the story of these guys being underdogs from a poor school. No one from these school runs, and we're gonna go and win a state title if we can, just because. Yeah,
That's so
another
fun.
heartwarming
As a
underdog
high school
story.
teacher, like the idea of like bringing in a coach that like can spot the fundamentals, can scout out the ability, and then like train that into people is a fun idea.
Well, and it's somewhat based on a true story too, where this guy he's supposed to be a football coach, but he got fired for being too much of a. So he goes and decides to start a cross country. He's like, "What are all these rich kids doing running cross country? We can do that too here, can't we?"
Huh.
And he saw the kids out running in the fields, running to class.
So
And,
you imagine Bo Pelini gets fired, goes to high school, and starts coaching track athletes, cross country athletes.
Interesting. See the kid running with
What a
his
story.
trapper keeper from class to class.
Yeah.
Passing period.
I see the talent. There he is. Yeah. Wow.
Get that man in the 100-meter dash.
Yeah.
I think the last genre would be racing movies, not like cross country, but motor racing, and that's easy number one for me. I'm not gonna let you guys guess. Obviously, it's Talladega Nights.
I was going to put that on my list. I thought
it's an
about it.
underdog story. It's a comedy, but I mean, it's same. Like I didn't list Happy Gilmore under golf movies because
Yeah.
it is a comedy. It's not quite
Sure.
fits what
Yeah.
we said. But like Happy Gilmore, if we included
I mean,
that,
I
in
would
the
call
same
Big
way that,
Lebowski a bowling movie.
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, I didn't think about that one. Big Lebowski is a bowling movie, kind of.
I think this subject is a good one to end on. After you talk about racing, we need to cycle back to this because I think the sports parody movie is actually really key to the part of the genre. Like, because sports movies are such a thing, such a trope, we have now gotten to spin-off movies that are comedy movies that make fun of the sports movies. So I think we cycle back to that. But finish with your racing movie first.
Well, Talladega Nights is that.
That's it.
Yeah, that's kind of what we can get into now. Is it is a parody movie about the sports genre, but it still fits all the tropes that we're talking about. I guess you could say the same about Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
You could say the same with The Waterboy in football. It's the underdog story of this, like, somebody you can relate with who is going and doing the unthinkable in sports through hard work and
Balls of Fury, kicking and screaming.
Dodgeball.
Blades of Glory.
Blades of Glory.
Blades of Glory.
Yeah.
Sometimes these parody movies are all good.
Oh, sorry. Balls of Fury, Blades of Glory. Excuse me.
Balls of Fury, Blades of Glory.
Yeah. What
Dodgeball.
other things?
Yeah, we said that.
Yeah.
Cool Runnings is a pretty good movie.
I feel like Cool Running. I mean, that is real though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's also like kind of the story conveniently fit into the tropes and is like pretty comedic in and of itself.
That's true.
Yeah,
Sandlot is a comedy, not necessarily like a parody, but it is a comedy.
I feel like I must be forgetting. Dodgeball. These movies are all
Nacho
so bad.
Libre.
That was gonna be my all-time favorite sports movie. That was what I was gonna throw out as my favorite sports movie.
I did not even consider that, and I think that
Wrestling
has to go on the top of my list.
Absolutely.
Have you seen Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell?
Yes.
No.
That one's even less of a sports movie, but it's great.
The Benchwarmers. It's a baseball movie.
Yes.
That is one that I thought was hilarious growing up and I haven't rewatched, which is probably fine for me. The Longest Yard is a comedy and a football movie.
Okay.
Both versions. There's the original version with Burt Reynolds and the new version with Adam Sandler. It's about a prison football team.
Longest Yard's a classic. I would honestly argue that the Adam Sandler version is better than the original.
Whoa.
I mean, Burt Reynolds isn't necessarily a comedic.
Burt Reynolds is in the new movie.
Oh.
Which is really interesting.
Same character, different character?
Different character.
Okay.
Yeah, Adam Sandler plays his original character, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, who is a quarterback in the NFL who has been sent to prison on, was it tax evasion charge or something like that? It's something stupid.
Great.
And he gets into this like hard-nosed Texas
And the way
prison
he can earn his way out is
by playing football.
Yeah.
Well, they want him to play on the guards team. Because the guards go out and play, and then he says no, and they start a prisoners team to go play the guards, and they go beat the guards.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Also another one, it's in the hockey genre, Slapshot.
Oh yeah.
You've seen
Haven't
it?
seen Slapshot.
I haven't seen it. Maybe if I have, I've forgotten all about it.
It's funny. It's raunchy. It's funny.
Yeah.
Kind of in the same ballpark, pun intended, as Major Leagues.
Okay.
Or Major League, excuse me.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Huh.
But that's a class. It's got Kurt Russell, Paul Newman.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Question.
So there's like a whole. This is just a whole. Look at this. Do you prefer? Would you even categorize all these silly parody movies as sports movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if that is the vehicle that the movie is using to tell its story, then that is what it is.
Sure. Wow.
I think that counts.
Well, at least like I just thought of one. Karate Kid. Kind of a comedy, but also kind of a drama in its own way.
What a great film.
Yeah.
Maybe that should go to the top of our fighting movies.
That would be
Raging
up
Bull
there.
probably still gets it just a little bit because Raging
Okay.
Bull it is Scorsese.
I haven't seen it.
I think I've got two on here. The one is a sequel to another one, speaking of Martin Scorsese, that I don't think either of you probably would have thought of.
Okay.
It is a sport that we have not mentioned up to this point. It is not a wildly active sport.
Racing.
Nope.
Secretariat.
Nope. We didn't think about horses either. we didn't
There's
think
so
about
many
horses.
sports movies, dude.
You use a tool in this sport.
Eating. You eat something. It's a food eating competition.
No.
You use a tool in this sport. A tool, not a sport tool, a non-sport tool.
No, it is a piece of sports equipment. It's not a running or jumping sport.
Invictus rugby.
No, that is specifically running and jumping.
With a ball.
Yes. There are balls in this sport.
Ping pong.
Nope.
You already said that.
So I will say Martin Scorsese did a sequel to the original movie that came out in like the 60s, and Scorsese did the sequel.
Give me more of a hint on this tool.
The actor, it is Oblong. The actor from the original
Pole vault.
reprises his role
Okay.
in the sequel.
Archery. It's Robin Hood.
It's not archery.
The spear. Oh, A Knight's Tale.
Oh,
This
you were so close with
Wait,
spear.
was I actually?
You were so close with spear.
It's not A
Spear-
Knight's Tale?
No, it's similar to a spear.
Jousting.
It's
A Knight's Tale is a great film, everybody.
Okay.
Let's talk about how great A Knight's
Dude,
Tale
my
is.
roommate shut it off the other night because whenever the movie starts, it was some modern song. He goes, "Well, this already takes me right out of it." And I
it's
went,
freaking,
"What?"
it's
That's one
it's
aspect
Dead
of it
or-
I don't
It's
like.
Dead or Alive
You don't like-
by
I love the
Bon
modern music.
Jovi.
Yeah, you're right. It's Bon Jovi.
yeah.
You heard the Bon Jovi, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Nope, this ain't it."
What? That's
It's-
a great film.
It's the same to me as like jukebox musicals. It seems weird to me. I don't like it. I
well,
can't watch
to
Moulin
each their
Rouge.
own, I
An
guess.
oblong instrument that is
is a spear.
somewhat like a spear. It does not have
and
a
it's
pointed
not a
tip.
lance. There's no pointed
Is
tip.
it a gun?
No, but you would call what you do with it shooting.
Oh, it's a sex movie?
Nope.
Okay.
A pool?
It's Pool.
Oh.
The Hustler.
Nice.
Followed by The Color of Money, directed by Martin Scorsese.
Okay.
So these are fantastic movies. The Hustler, both of these starring Paul Newman. The second one starring Tom Cruise as well as the basically new version of Paul Newman.
Okay.
The original is Paul Newman, who is pool halls. Pool halls are like a thing at that point in history, the same way that boxing used to be big. So did pool halls, and you would go and you would shoot pool, and he was a hustler. So he would try to work his way up the ranks and everything, and it's about really his obsession. That's another kind of thing about these sports movies a lot of time is the obsession and having to make a choice between this or that, or like a relationship or the game or something like that. And it's him having this obsession with trying to defeat Fats Domino. And then the second one is he's kind of reaping the choice that he's made in the end of that movie, and he's living that life, and he's a salesman, an alcohol salesman at that point, just kind of living in another hustle. And he is in a bar and sees this kid playing pool, shooting pool, and he's incredible. And he's like, immediately something turns on in his brain. And he hasn't played in a long time, but he goes and helps Tom Cruise, and he goes to all the different towns, and they try to get the hustle, and it eventually reignites it in him. So it shifts then from being about Tom Cruise to being about Paul Newman.
Wow.
And it's like, it's very, very well done.
Cool.
But it's again about that obsession and almost about addiction. It's very, very good.
And along those same lines, that really reminds me of the movie Rounders. You seen that one?
I have not.
Matt Damon. It's got
Ed Norton.
John Malkovich.
John Malkovich, yep. Doing the most ridiculous, wonderful accent.
Of Russian. Yeah, he's doing a Russian accent.
Is he?
Yeah, it's not good, but it's.
Yeah.
I literally just watched this movie like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It popped up. I think it's free to watch on Netflix or
I don't know. I
Amazon or
haven't
one of the
seen
two. It's free to watch somewhere. And I wasn't sure. Is gambling, is poker a sport movie? Now I think about it. I mean, they got
Yeah.
the World Series of poker. It's
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of a sports movie. That's another one, kind of underdog story. And it's about this guy who he used to be a hustler of poker in Boston, I think it is.
Sure.
And he decides to turn his life around, has like this long-term girlfriend, convince him to go off to law school. So he's going to become a lawyer. And while he is, this is after he has lost everything. At the
Sure.
poker table, turn his life around.
Hate it when that happens.
And then he has found that he is not going to be able to get into, I believe it's Harvard Law. So
That's
he's
Boston.
gone in, yeah. So and he's talking with one of the professors at Harvard, and they all have this special poker club that they go to, and he goes to the poker club to go like ask a question to his professor while they're all playing the game, and he's like, what you need to do here is, he's about to fold, and he goes, you don't need to fold, you need to put in $50.
Yes, I've seen this
And
clip.
he's like, why would I do that? And he's like, trust me, you need to do this. And they get to the end and he wins it all. And he explains why you need to go. And he's, well, you're not looking at the cards, you're looking at the people. I saw that he was looking at the turn and he was disappointed on the turn, so he didn't have anything, so he's just bluffing. I looked over at him and he's looking at the river and whenever the river didn't hit, that means his straight didn't hit, which means he has nothing either, which means you need to put money in here. And eventually the guy ends up going and getting all his money back at the poker table, which is a heartwarming story of enabling an addict, but
Yeah. That's what we love. That's America.
really at the end of the day, as I think about it, it is the story of enabling an addict, but it's told in a very inspirational way.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, and isn't that just the common thread through all these? Is like inspiration. Yeah.
Well, that's the common
nice.
thread of sports movies. Is I think you leave the movie feeling better than you did when you walked into the movie, for the most part. There are some notable exceptions.
Yeah.
Hardball is one of the ones I mentioned with Keanu Reeves. That's one that you walk out feeling just a little bit sad.
Worse.
But like, like the ultimate feel-good sports movie, which I'm shocked I didn't mention earlier, I kind of forgot about as a sports movie, is Cars.
Yeah.
Animated sports movies?
Interesting.
Wow. Holy crap! It is just a quintessential sports movie.
It just
Oh
happens
my
to
God.
feature a talking car named Lightning McQueen.
Yeah.
But it's like from the top, he burns out. He has to go train with like the sensei master.
There's a
Like,
training montage.
It's like there's a little bit of Karate Kid in there.
There's
like-
that shared hardship that kind of brings him and the people of Radiator Springs together and allows
Yeah.
him to get back into his racing career.
Whoa, and then he's like an underdog. Wow.
fascinating.
What the crap, dude? And then like really heartwarming. He sticks with Rusty's or whatever it is, the sponsor.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, guys, we've gone through our favorites. We're running a little over.
We
keep-
literally there's still more sports movies. We talked about so many just movies here where we've given them their 15 seconds of it's a good movie, and there's
Yeah.
still so many more
Yeah.
we can talk about.
It could go forever.
It's an underappreciated genre. That's why I'm glad you guys had me here.
Yes.
It is it's whenever you go to the Oscars, nobody's talking about the sports movies unless
Yeah.
like Will Smith puts in an incredible
That's
performance
a-
in King Richard.
That's
Yeah.
a great point.
But there's so many movies that come out and like they're hard to hate, these sports movies, because they do give you that feeling of like happiness and satisfaction at the end where you see somebody else going and living out their dreams and it inspires you to be like, you know what, I'm just an average guy, but so was Lightning McQueen. He was just this average has-been race car that went and found it again. So it can kind of intersect with so many different areas of life that I really do love sports movies.
wow.
Yeah.
There's not that many that have won awards. Can I throw that in before we wrap up?
Go for it.
I'm trying to think.
well, I even have another segment.
Do you? Oh, okay. Never mind then. I was trying to think of which sports movies have actually won awards during award season, and it's not that many.
Sure.
Which is interesting for how timeless and how much sticking power they have.
I think
it's
just
interesting that you
genre
said that,
movies
yeah.
in general just don't really win. That's why I said on a previous episode, it's a miracle that Return of the King won Best Picture. That's crazy. It's only recently that things are even like that are getting nominated actively for Best Picture.
Well, like right now in sports movies, as I said, you'll get the occasional Best Actor nomination
Sure.
or victory, but when was the last time you saw a sports movie nominated for Movie of the Year or Film of the Year? Excuse me.
Some sports movies that have won awards. Throw them out there real quick. Dear Basketball.
Is that when the Deers play basketball?
That is the one with the Deers. No, Kobe Bryant won an award as a. That was like his. Was it animated? It was. Was it the? It was before he died.
Oh, was
Yeah.
it?
It was a short.
It was a short. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that won awards. The Fighter won some
Yes,
awards.
yeah.
The Blind Side won some awards.
Oh, yeah.
another
Yeah.
movie we haven't even
Yeah.
mentioned.
$1 Million Baby. That one hasn't
6 out of
aged.
10.
The book
That
was
one-
better than the movie in The
That
Blind Side.
one, when it came out, was good, and since then has not
Which
aged
one?
super well. The Blind Side
Yeah.
has not aged super well.
Yeah.
As people have kind of reconsidered race in America. Anyway, $1 Million Baby. Jerry Maguire won some awards.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's less of a sports movie, more of
Yeah.
a drama though, because it is just this sports agent trying to go off. It's
See,
less about the
yeah.
sports and more about like business.
And now that's interesting. A lot of the ones I think have won awards, most of the plot is not really actually
sports.
the sport. It's
Yeah.
a lot of other stuff.
Show
even
me
like
the Oscar.
The Blind Side. Chariots of Fire won some awards. Raging Bull won some awards. Breaking Away won some awards. Heaven Can Wait.
What's that one even about?
1978 comedy. Not really sure about the death of a backup quarterback for the LA Rams.
Whoa! Speaking of deaths we didn't even talk about We Are Marshall.
Oh, yeah.
You guys seen that one?
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
I've not seen We Are Marshall.
It's good. It fits the tropes perfectly. It has the added effect of that was a huge moment in American sports whenever the entire plane goes down and the entire Marshall varsity team is killed. Now their JV team's got to go out there, and The only problem with the movie is the team is still like 3-9 at the end of the year. Like they're still not a good football team, but they won a couple of games despite being all freshmen who never played college football before. So that is kind of the heartwarming aspect of it. And it's got Matthew McConaughey.
Oh yeah.
He's the coach.
I consider it somewhat a point of pride that I have not seen it at this point, given that it is my name.
Whoa.
So
Your name's We Are?
I will say I didn't include it among the upper echelon of football movies, and there's a reason. It's an all right movie. It tells a really good story, but like the movie itself it's nothing special.
yeah.
No offense to the families that lost loved ones in the Where Marshall tragedy.
I have full disrespect to you. I will never watch your crappy movie. I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tropes here. Real fast, I want to know what movie you think does these tropes the best. First one, The Big Game. Which sports movie do you think has the best The Big Game?
Okay.
Miracle is an easy thing to pick out. Rocky 2, I might even say, or Rocky 4.
Yeah. High School Musical 2. Just kidding.
Moving on.
That's High School Musical 1.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, there's a big game in High School Musical 1. Maybe Hoosiers. I feel like the final game in Hoosiers is pretty good.
I would also put Creed there.
Game,
With the boxing ones, all the
Yeah.
Rocky movies, literally the last 20 minutes is just the fight. And it's just thrilling every single time, except for Rocky 5 when it's just he punches a guy in the street and it's crappy.
Yeah.
Rocky Balboa is also okay. But gosh, that final fight, especially in Creed 2, not Creed 2, but Creed as well, is just exhilarating and so tense because you don't know if he's gonna win because this guy is legitimately terrifying. It's not some, Creed was kind of a return to the seriousness of the way that Rocky started before it turned into American propaganda.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that Creed might be my pick.
I would also put The Last Hole of Happy Gilmore.
Oh, yeah.
The Last Hole of Happy Gilmore is a good one. I would probably put Miracle as number 1 still,
Yeah.
but I just to make some conversation here. The Last Hole of Happy Gilmore is kind of fun.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Sweet. Ben? You say High School Musical?
Yeah, High School Musical.
Wait,
Come on, get your head in the game.
Wait, I forgot about this one completely. Rudy.
Oh,
Rudy,
yeah,
the end of
okay.
Rudy.
Okay.
Come on, where the dad walks into the stadium. My eyes have never seen a sight so beautiful. It's his first Notre Dame game because his son's on the team.
Yeah.
Oh, and this the years of toil and blood, sweat, and
worked
tears
so
that
hard,
Rudy
yeah.
Rudiger put into that to be culminated with getting carried off the field at the end. Yep, no, that
That makes me
eclipses
want to
Miracle.
cry. Oh my gosh.
That
Training
eclipses Miracle.
montage.
Best
Rocky.
training montage.
Yeah.
Rocky 4.
Come on, Rock.
Which
No,
one?
come on. Where he runs up the stairs is the first one. Come on. It's iconic. It's iconic. I don't know if it's the best, but it's iconic.
I also have Chariots of Fire on here, just that beginning running on the beach.
They're also iconic. I don't think they're the best though.
Karate Kid.
There's probably shoot,
Literally
yeah.
the best around.
Yeah, it's not. It's kind of a long montage if you want to call
History
it that.
repeats itself.
Holy balls, dude! I just remembered the movie. Gosh, what's the name of it? It's with that one guy who's the MMA star who fight super. Oh God,
Fight Soup.
Ultimate fight. What's the name of that movie?
Here comes the boom.
With who's no, what's the name of
Kevin
it?
James, right?
Yeah,
That's what you're talking
that's not what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
I just watched this recently. He is a mixed martial arts, a kickboxing like actual guy, and then he turned into an action star. He's a foreign guy.
JCVD?
No, yes.
Jean-Claude Bloodsport?
Yes, Bloodsport. I just watched Bloodsport recently. It's so good. It's so good. But I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for helping me discover that.
Do you have a training montage choice?
It's probably Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Wax on, wax off. That's a classic.
You're the best.
Okay. What's next?
Inspirational speech. My first thought is Miracle. My second would be just anything that Mickey says in the corner.
Oh yeah. I can't think of his.
You got to
big
eat
old-
lightning and crap thunder.
I
Will
can't-
never die. That's incredible.
That's insane. I can't think of a specific speech, but I'm sure the internet could tell me if I googled it. Yeah.
This is another one we haven't mentioned today, but it gets referenced a decent amount on the Hail Varsity Radio Show. I've actually never even seen the movie, but I've seen the speech. Any Given Sunday. the inch by inch speech
Yeah.
at the end. That's a classic. If you don't know it, look it up. I don't want to spoil it for you.
Okay.
It's a great speech, and like I can say that I've never seen the movie, and I watched that speech, and I'm like ready to go run through a brick wall.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
You go through brick walls. That's great.
Next trope.
Or you could also put in the Hoosiers speech before they're going and playing the big game, the state title game, where it's like this big moment, and he's like, guys, this final score does not matter to me today. The fact that we are here is what is special. I'm butchering this speech. Go look it up. But it's like, it doesn't matter what's on the scoreboard. It matters that we're here.
You're basically Gene Hackman, dude. Thank you. Wow. You should have played Lex Luthor in Superman 78.
Yeah, Heen Jackman.
What a jacked man. Last second victory.
High School Musical 1.
I don't know that I can think of any off the top of my head.
Did you ever see that TikTok? It was the guy. It's like he's wearing like this fake basketball uniform. He goes and sits down, and they're like, it's like these three. It's like the same guy, but these three guys are all shaking their heads and looking at each other. And the caption is just, and you can hear the High School Musical sound going in the background. It's when you lose to the team that is literally singing all the plays that they're running at any given time.
That's funny.
That's pretty good.
Last second victory. How about this? The antithesis. Rocky loses.
I mean, kind of. He goes the distance.
He goes the distance. Well,
But
yeah,
then it's a
okay.
split decision, I guess.
Sure,
They
okay.
call it.
Yeah,
and
but
he
at the
loses.
last second,
They
he
call
just
it for
barely
Apollo.
makes it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's an edgy choice.
I can't even. Last second victories. I gotta go through my Rolodex of all the movies that we were talking about today.
Yeah.
and even
Lightning
think-
McQueen.
Oh, that's a classic.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cars is actually up
Last
there.
second. Slides across the finish line.
Like golf, like there's no such thing as like a last second victory, like
Everyone is
You know
a last
what?
second
You know
victory.
what? The Moneyball. Whenever they blow the big lead against the Kansas City Royals and they hit that home run at the end, the music that they have in the background, the
Yeah.
slow-mo, the way that it goes from the actors hitting the baseball to then the actual broadcast,
Actual footage.
of this ball going over the center field wall.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it like brings you back into reality of, oh yeah, this isn't a movie. This
This is
actually
why
happened.
we keep you around, Elijah.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's why you're here.
Well, there's also in Remember the Titans. A similar thing happens, doesn't it?
Well, isn't it you got the guy who got hurt in the car accident sitting in the hospital
He's in the
bed,
hospital
like
and
listening? Yeah.
Like that's what I'm picturing in my head when I think of that. Yeah, that's great. Lovable underdog. Rudy.
Rudy, Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, Happy Gilmore. That's fun. Talk about lovable underdog. Yeah, or Waterboy.
Oh yeah.
Very lovable.
I don't love Adam Sandler. I'm sorry.
Come on, Marshall.
I don't like Adam Sandler.
Get on our
very
level.
much.
Get on the Herbal level.
Happy Gilmore is the only Adam Sandler movie that I think is very good at all.
Okay, fine.
That's what I have to say about that.
I'll also say Cool Runnings. They're very underdog Jamaican bobsled team.
That's
Very
true.
lovable.
Hard coach with a soft heart.
That goes to Gene Hackman and Hoosiers, I think.
Okay.
Or Coach Carter. Coach Carter might be the ultimate example of that.
Okay.
That to me, just whenever I hear that, it strikes like the basketball movie chord to me, and I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I would agree.
For some reason, like there's this perception of basketball players that always gets played out in the sports movies of like, oh, basketball players only care about themselves. They don't care about the team. You got the ball hog on the team, and you have to go be hard on the ball hog
Yeah.
in order to get him to play with the team. And oh, we find success. For some reason, the basketball coach sticks out to me, and I think then it's going to be Coach Carter, because Coach Carter is like the classic, like, hey, you guys don't play until you get your grades right. You guys don't play until you get your life in order. So, Coach Carter.
All right, sweet.
I had to go through my a couple different options there
you
before
go.
I settled on the right one.
Yeah.
But Coach
You just
Carter is the
covered
right
it along the
answer.
way, Yeah.
Last one, come back.
Kim Kardashian.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that is. I hope someone's been listening long enough. Thank you, Elijah. That is
just like-
yeah, a clip. It's a clip.
It is ingrained in my brain
Yeah,
at this point.
Yeah, that is some film I have not seen.
Okay, I hate to go there, but in all
Not
seriousness,
that clip.
Oh
No!
I thought we were talking about Kanye.
No, I was talking about.
not even
That's
Kanye,
not even
Kanye. Sorry.
Talking about.
How do you guys know? You're the one who said comeback.
the blooper reel from Parks and Rec.
The blooper from Parks and Recreation.
I thought you were talking about her sex tape.
No,
that's
that's what it's about.
Oh God. Oh.
No, where like the best comeback story, and it's
Oh, is that
Leslie-
Chris Pratt goes, Kim Kardashian goes, huh? And he goes, I think he comes on her back.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've never seen that blooper reel. Oh, thank you. I thought this was the real joke. I thought you guys were being creative, and yet you were just stealing from Chris Pratt. Nice.
Not something that I ever want to do.
It's not Kanye, you're right. Anyway, so
Best comeback in sports movies to me is Space Jam. They were down by like 1,000.
oh, that's good. That's so true. Oh, literally
1,000.
biggest comeback. Wow. Yeah.
To be fair, the Monstars, far superior players.
Well, yeah. Well, only because of this.
They took the powers of the greatest basketball players in the world at the time.
That's true.
And put that into
Yeah.
their already alien bodies.
Thank you for including at that time, Elijah. We won't have a debate about who the best basketball players of all time
Because
were.
it's obviously me.
Yeah. And there's a reason they came out with a second one about LeBron.
You also don't want me to go on a 20-minute tangent about why Nikola Jokic is the greatest basketball player of our era right now. You don't want that. I'm going to stay away from that. This is a movie podcast, not a sports podcast.
I don't know anything about it.
Do you guys have any other options on best comebacks?
Does Miracle count? No, that's underdog, not comeback.
I don't know. I think that's good.
We haven't talked about Ford versus Ferrari
It's kind of a comeback.
in like one of the races, right? In the final race, do they kind of come back from behind? Do they? I'm trying to remember how the final race
I've only
goes.
seen it the one time in theaters.
It's a good movie.
It is good.
I like that movie a lot.
It won
I-
best sound over something else that
That
we were
sound
talking
in the
about.
theater was very good.
Yeah.
Also, maybe the most heartbreaking ending
Ooh, yeah.
to a sports movie where because they crossed the line together at the same time to show off Ford, but then they realized that the other guy started after, so his time on the racetrack was shorter by a couple of seconds. So the other Ford driver ends up winning it, and what's his name? Christian Bale. I almost called him Christopher Bale.
Ken something.
Ken.
I had it and now I lost it.
I don't know.
Anyway, so he ends up losing the race, and then at the end of the movie, he dies in a fiery car wreck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking with his son there as well.
Yeah, real life. That's nice when a sports movie mixes in like a real life sad thing. Anyway,
Funniest, best fight sequence in any movie I've ever seen. Ford versus Ferrari.
when he's like throwing stuff at him.
No, grocery battle.
What?
Oh, and they're throwing all the groceries at each other in the front lawn.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
two middle-aged men wrestling and getting tired. The end of the fight is just because
They
they're
just
both
get
tired.
Doesn't
good.
that start with
That's
them like
real
throwing
life.
food at each other and then they start
Real life.
wrestling? Is that how it
Yeah,
starts?
yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if that's how it started or if the wife came and broke it up by throwing things in the grocery bag at them. I couldn't
I
remember.
think a little bit of both, maybe.
Okay.
Well, gentlemen, we've talked about a lot of movies.
Oh.
This is a good, solid
Yeah.
hour 30.
Oh my God.
This is a good one. This is
Yeah.
a good episode. I'm happy that we did it. I'm glad that you're here, Elijah. I might replace the other one, this guy, with you.
It's okay.
Um,
It's okay.
You gotta pay me.
well, I'll pay you.
I
in-
do this for free.
in love. But yeah, thanks everyone for listening to the show. Thanks for listening to us talk about sports movies for a long, long time. I enjoyed taking somewhat of a backseat in this episode, as I don't know as much as you guys, but I enjoyed learning new things. It's not something I often do in the movie world.
Before we get out of here, may I recommend weekdays 4 to 6 Hail Varsity Radio.
Oh,
It's on KFOR as well as 590 up in Omaha, AM 590. We have a couple different affiliates across the state as well, so wherever you find us, check it out. Google it, Hail Varsity Radio, or find us in podcast form. That's the easiest way to find us. Just search Hail Varsity Radio wherever you get your podcast. You can find it. 6 shows a week, a ton of content that we push out for you. So if you like Husker football, it's a podcast for you. I recommend it. It's Chris Schmidt and myself. We really put our blood, sweat, and tears into that show. So would recommend if anyone out there listening has any interest in that, go check it out.
yeah, sweet.
Yeah, for me, if anybody's sending their kid to high school, Lincoln East High School, 5 days a week, I will be there.
That's good. That's good.
Thank you.
Something we forgot to do before we do the outro. We have to toast.
Oh yeah,
We always toast.
yeah, toes.
Would you like to start toast?
Yeah,
I
okay,
will
Elijah.
second
So
toast,
this is
and then
a
Elijah can
toast
finish.
a la Men in Blazers. If you're into that sort of thing, a little splash will do
yeah.
ya. Okay.
You start, I go, and then you can finish our toast. We'll dink it and sink it.
Here's to movies.
Here's to honor.
Oh.
One at a time!
I was gonna go with the one that I'm not gonna say on this podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's to movies that make you cry. Here's to movies with balls and with long oblong objects, and with movies with wheels and other sporting equipments. Here's to movies that motivate us to try a little harder, to push even when we're on the sideline,
Yeah.
to cheer for those around us, to put ourselves in the ring, to go out swinging and never give up.
Here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Marshall, your toast.
Here is a toast.
Uh-huh.
It's just for the sportist. Oh, the sportist of them all.
Yes.
To win the game of life that we're all playing together on. We're all on the same team, guys.
Amen.
And the enemy is our deep, dark hearts.
That was took a turn at the end. I was just gonna say, here's to the underdog. We all see that in us. May we continue to be the underdog. May we continue to be inspired by the underdog.
That was an actually
Here's
nice
to
toast.
Underdog, starring Owen Wilson.
Here we
Dink
go.
it.
Dink
Cheers.
it and sink
Cheers.
it. Here's to you, listener. Thank you for joining us
Pretty
on
good.
this extra long pod.
Yeah, how long did this end up going?
About an hour 30.
Just wait. Yeah.
Thanks everyone for listening. We appreciate it. If you're hearing us for the first time because of some kind of crossover because of Elijah, thank you. We hope you enjoy the show. If you have movies that you like, tell us about them. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Cinema Lounge Pod. I'm still recovering from that. It's good. It's weird.
The whiskey. The
yeah.
whiskey.
But yeah, you can message us there. I'm always updating things on there. We also have a Discord. All these links are in the description of the episode. You can email us at the email that I never check. If you leave us a review, that would be great. It's always wonderful. We might read it on the air if it's one that we're able to read. And yeah, just thanks everyone for listening. Next episode, I don't know what we're going to do.
Something short. Something shorter than
Something
this.
short.
Yep.
It'll be pretty cool. And once again, thank you, Elijah, for joining us for talking about sports and movies that have to do with them. And that is, I think, everything,
All
Ben.
right.
Did I miss anything?
No, that was great. All right. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Peace out.
Be safe.
This has been the Cinema Lounge. I've been Marshall.
And I've been Ben.
And I'm Elijah.
Good enough.